Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, we met a boy named Mash who loves making gains, but is unable to use magic in a world where magic decides one's social status. When Mash breaks his father's rules and goes to the city for some cream puffs, the villagers are shocked to see that he is unmarked. Later, after getting a good pump, Mash returns home to find his father being harassed for hiding an unmarked. Mash stops them and the man named Brad agrees to not get them in trouble as long as Mash goes to a magic school and becomes the top student. Mash passes the entrance exams in his own unique ways and eventually finds himself in an outdoor class. He's attacked by a member of the Lang dorm who is trying to get his silver coins, but Mash defeats him in amazing fashion. Mash would then defeat another pair of attackers from Lang, but one of their more fearsome members comes to retrieve them, and he points out how he and Mash are the same. The story continues as the Magma Master of the Orca dorm is surprised to see that the mysterious member of the Magia Lupus really thinks he could just take his gold coin. Unfortunately for him, he is defeated as the mysterious man explains that he heard he was surprisingly aggressive for an orca, but it turns out that he wasn't anything special. In the school kitchen, Mash prepares some more delicious cream puffs, while Lance explains how the Magia Lupus are filled with those that have high self-esteem and are magically talented. Its higher ranks are clearly the top students in the school. Lance would rather not sit back and play defense with such skilled opponents, but the school hides the dorms' locations from each other to encourage inter-dorm competition. Lance then dramatically declares his plan to locate Lang's dorm to take their coins, and Mash just says okay. Mash is pretty focused on making those cream puffs though, and Lance wonders if he was really listening. Lance then gives him his new robe, which Mash struggles with, but likes when he sees the alder mark. Just then, Lemon comes barging in to urgently exclaim that something happened to Tom. Mash is incredibly concerned about his cream puffs, but Lemon insists that they come with her. When they get to the infirmary, Tom welcomes them and wonders how they are bambooing. Tom is in pretty bad shape as he looks extremely drained, but he can't remember what happened to him. Usually he lives life at full speed, so he fell asleep, and moments later he woke up there. He never really dreams, but that night he dreamt that he was trapped and stuffed in a dark box. Tom was fully conscious but couldn't speak, and he was like this for hours. Mash points out that Tom is in a really bad place mentally, so Mash needs to eat a cream puff. Tom temporarily can't use magic and can hardly feel magic energy within himself. As if this weren't surprising enough, Lance points out how there are several other students in the infirmary going through the same thing. Tom doesn't think that it's a coincidence that this happened just as their headmaster was called out to the Bureau of Magic. Lemon seems to think that this is the perfect moment to give Mash a gift, and explains that it's a good luck charm named Creamy. Giving him this was obviously difficult for her, but Mash criticizes the gift by wondering what's the point of the ribbon. Lemon asks him to not do anything too crazy, which he agrees to, but then she adds that she wants him to keep Creamy with him at all times, and always think about her. That night, after lights out, Mash wonders if it's okay for them to be walking around school after hours. Lance questions why Dot and Finn have come along, and Dot calls Lance a moron while explaining that he wants coins too. Finn just doesn't want to be left alone, and Mash suggests they come along as he feels bad for them. Just then, they see Lemon and Dot wants to call out to the woman he loves. Lance stops him and explains to the fool that there is something wrong with her. Her body moves in strange ways, and she shows that she has transformed into a terrifying puppet. Dot can't help but point out how she didn't have any eyes, but she was still cute. Lance contemplates what they should do, but she has started to move and they chase her. Their chase leads to a dead end, but Finn can clearly hear the sound of wood creaking. Dot calls it nonsense but freaks out when he hears it too. Lance urges them to remain calm and uses a disclose spell to reveal a door. Unfortunately, Lance's spell can only reveal the door, and another special spell is needed to open it. Dot explains that he has it taken care of and uses his machine gun explom spell, but it doesn't work. Mash is next to try his idea and shocks his friends when he just uses a sword and some leverage to open the door without using any magic at all. Mash has defeated yet another door as it goes flying out the school. Lance points out that Lemon is down the steps, but the Magia Lupus will most certainly be down there as well. Mash then looks at Creamy and apologizes to Lemon as he won't be able to keep his promise to not do anything risky. When they get down there, Mash points out how the place seems like a secret base, and Dot scolds him for ruining the dramatic tension. It's clear to Lance that the Magia Lupus chose this place since it must give them an advantage somehow, so they proceed with caution. They notice a light and follow it to find that they have arrived inside an arena. A member of the Lang dorm arrives to explain that it's an ancient dueling field, so old that current teachers don't even know it exists. He explains that he is not part of the Magia Lupus, and is simply there at the third Fang's request. His purpose is to eradicate intruders like them, and if they want to proceed, then they will have to wager coins and challenge him. He warns that they will never get past him, so Lance decides to prove him wrong, but Dot would like to go first. His reason is that he hates good-looking guys, and his friends do their best to offer him support. Dot wonders if the guy has a fan club. He says that he does, and Mash and the others can instantly detect a jealous rant incoming. They were correct, as Dot loses his mind at how the guy is living the dream. The kid points out how Dot lacks both a good face and a good brain, so there is no way he could lose, and he uses his Rose Whip spell. Elsewhere, we see the Bureau of Magic, the Magic Realm's highest legal authority. Headmaster Wahlberg was suddenly called there, and is now told that 6 of Death Row's most notorious inmates have escaped from Hectress prison. The guards were slaughtered, and the inmates were assisted by someone named Innocent Zero. Back at the arena, Dot unleashes his attack on the handsome guy. It doesn't work, and the handsome guy is surprised that they were the ones that defeated Silva, but Dot thinks about how Silva actually might have beat him up pretty badly. Handsome Guy explains that even though Silva was a double liner, magic capacity is worthless if it isn't used right. He is completely frank in stating that he is far tougher than Silva, but Dot does not intend on losing. Dot uses a spell to surround the handsome guy, and he doesn't understand what Dot is doing. Dot explains that he should watch his step, as it is a conditional spell, and it has 5 times the explosive power than usual. Handsome Guy points out how there is no way he would fall for such an obvious trap, but Dot states that he is exactly the type that would surely fall for it. Handsome Guy questions how Dot intends to make him step on the marks, but just decides to attack. Dot fails to stop it and loses his wand as he is captured. Thorns come out of the stems and completely immobilize Dot's body. Handsome Guy makes fun of Dot's goofy eyes and lack of skill, while also pointing out how he failed to make him step on his trap. He claims that his next attack will end it all, but Dot reveals that he never said anything about making him step on the marks. One of them explodes, and Dot explains that the Explom Bomb marks are nothing more than time bombs. Handsome Guy is shocked to have been tricked by someone like Dot, and Dot detonates the other marks. Dot states that you should never judge a book by its cover, and confidently asks for the next opponent to step up. Our group is then shocked to see that although Handsome Guy has been defeated, he has still managed to strike a pose. Dot actually kind of respects that, but we then see that the guys begin to get sucked into the ground. Finn is terrified to be sinking, while Lance points out that their enemies have no intention of letting them go. Mash is getting taken as well, but he heroically asks that his precious baby be saved, and Dot realizes that his friends might be even more insane than he is. They all fall through the ground, and Lance realizes that their enemies plan to split them all up and hunt them down. A Magia Lupus member arrives, disappointed to see Lance, as he was more interested in fighting the Mushroom Head. Lance realizes that the terrifying magic he felt earlier was his, and acknowledges that this is what the upper echelon of Magia Lupus looks like. This guy introduces himself as the third Fang of Magia Lupus, named Worth, and he states that being worthlessly weak is absolutely inexcusable. Dot and Finn arrive together and meet their opponents, who think their job will be easy since they are up against 2 single-liners. One of them is the 4th Fang named Milo Genius, and the other is the 5th Fang named Love Cute. Finn points out how it's all over since they are both double-liners, and he thanks his mom and dad for bringing him into this world. Dot tells him not to give up before they have even started, since it will be a huge underdog story if they can get through it. Dot proclaims that he will show these side characters the power of the protagonist, and Love cheers him on. Mash lands at his location and recognizes the guy he met the other day at the Owl Hut. He introduces himself as the 2nd Fang of Magia Lupus, Abyss Razor. Abyss states how impressed he was by Mash's movement that day, and has predicted that Mash can't use magic. Mash tries his best to lie, but he stutters. Abyss tells him that he has no need to worry, as the world hates him just as bad and has done the same thing to him. Abyss acknowledges that Mash must have his reasons for being there, but explains that he does as well. Mash points out how those are fighting words, but states that he plans to beat the stuffing out of him. Thanks for watching part 8, part 9 will come out next Friday.